Meet me. Welcome back, my friends. Inevitably, all of you are going to ask me and message me, spamming me, saying, what do you think of the balance patch? Is this going to change the meta completely? Well, let's find out. I have not read these balance patch notes yet. We're going to read them together. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to see if Smilegate is continuing its tradition of overtuning units, making them meta. We've seen it happen with like Violet and Apoc Ravi and stuff. Super strong now. Let's see, and right off the bat, we have Mediocre Kawerik, Ida, Yafine, Bloodblade Karen, and who the hell knows what this is. But all of these are heroes that are pretty much non-existent in RTA. Well, in my experience, I guess I haven't done high-end RTA recently. I did see this in Legend RTA last season occasionally. This, some people used to use it on Tomo, so I guess they want to buff it and see it used more. This, some people use it on like BBK, K-Ron and stuff, but generally not often, so we'll see what they did there. So first up, we have our friend, Mediocre Kawerik, maligned as possibly the worst ML5 in the game. Let's see what they did with the Smilegate treatment. The green is the changes. What the heck changed? Oh. Okay, so now, before it only increased the CR of the ally that had the highest CR, now it's also going to push himself. It's a solid buff. I don't think this is game-changing or anything, but definitely it'll help him turn cycle a little more. Definitely a buff, right? Certainly, there's no drawback to that, so that's good. S2, attack all the enemy with the meter. Okay. Dispels all buffs. This is a pretty big buff, obviously, especially because the damage and barrier strength is increased. Now, this might not mean a lot to you, because a lot of you guys probably never ran into a good Mediator Kawerik. Last season, Legend RTA, a few people did run him with really god-tier gear. What people may not know is that his S2 actually hits pretty damn hard. Like, it would hit my carrot for like 8 to 9k, which isn't like super crazy damage. It's not like cleave level damage, but considering he has like 300 F-res and like 20k HP, that's not bad. So now that he dispels all buffs, this is great, because the problem with Mediocre Kawerik was that he S3'd and did nothing. But now he can kind of fully dispel a unit and set him up to be killed. So, is this going to be enough to make him, super usable? I don't think so, but it's definitely a huge, huge buff, and will definitely make him a lot more viable than he currently is. They also buffed his S3. Okay, let's look at, I don't even know. I always get confused that they show the pre-awakening version. Who's not going to awaken their hero and actually use it? So let's look at the awakened version. Increases combat readiness of the caster by 50%. That's great, because now we can turn cycle into the S2. When the skill is available at the start of the turn, decreases debuff duration of the caster by 1 turn. Mediocre Kawerik just got the Smilegate treatment. Mediocre Kawerik is now God tier Kawerik. So what this means is that he is a much better Delibet. A much, much better Delibet, and that Delibet is now in tune for buffs. So get your Delibets, because she's going to get the Smilegate treatment next. But what was the... They usually write a blurb about them. Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. They accurately highlighted the problem with Mediocre Kawerik. Far too high stats were required. So, Mediocre Kawerik's kit before wasn't even really that terrible. The main problem with him was, to use him, because he's kind of slow and stuff, you needed to have him on 300 F-res. And even that wasn't bulletproof, because a lot of F10As nowadays are running around with like 220 effectiveness, plus they're using like Cursed Compass. So really you needed even more to be completely safe, right? Like 330, 340 effect resist. What was the problem with that? You couldn't be that tanky, and you couldn't hit particularly hard. So what ended up happening was he S3'd and just sat there like a useless idiot and did nothing, because he had way too many points invested into effect resistance. This buff doesn't look too huge until you realize that this means you don't need to run effect resistance on Mediocre Kawerik anymore. I mean, God Kawerik anymore. It's a useless stat on him, because he'll be able to cleanse off whatever it is, instantly. So, what are the things that are actually going to stop Mediocre Kawerik? Like stun, sleep, silence. All of those things from the vast majority of heroes are 1-turn debuffs. Like 2-turn stun, like who's the only person who has a 2-turn stun? Like that, the archer chick. Whatever. No one uses her. It doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. Broman, I believe, has a 2-turn silence. I don't remember. I haven't run into Broman in a while. But the point is, very few heroes have turn-denying debuffs that last more than 1 turn. So what does that mean? It means that you can't shut God Kawerik down anymore. Well, maybe you'll blind him, whatever. He doesn't give a crap. He's going to dispel it all and give the entire team increased attack and immunity, push himself up, and set himself up to kill someone on the team by fully removing all their defense buffs, their attack buffs, whatever it is. And you don't really have... I was worried about the effectiveness, but you don't really have to care about it if you're going on a DPS. I have a triple S ML Kawerik, so... Hey. I won out on this one. These, a lot of times with the buffs, I'm like, I don't think it's going to change that much, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is going to change a lot. The one thing is not that many people are running control comps anymore anyway, but in my eyes, like, why the hell would anyone pick Delibet now? This is so much better than Delibet. The only difference, I guess, is Delibet pushes herself, so maybe if you wanted to get an earlier turn or something, but in general, I mean, this just seems so much better. Immunity, attack buff, literally can't be shut down. Like, Delibet could still kind of be shut down because you can get her to proc her cleanse and then disable her right after, and she just becomes a moron. But Mediocre Kawerik, he's going to get in play now. He's going to be played. This is going to be big, and I'm telling you guys, his damage was not that bad before. You're going to see his damage now that 300 points invested into effect res are now going to be going into crit damage, strength, all these things. Like, his multis, from what I remember, were not that bad. He's going to hit like a truck. So, God Kawerik meta, whenever this patch goes live, it's coming. I'm calling it. Damn, that was spicy. Spicy. I gotta wash myself up soon. Alright, Ida, what's going on here? S1. Change unhealable to defense break. I guess that's good. Cold Snap. Spells 2 buffs instead of 1. Significantly increase the CR pushback. Gives her Skill Nullifier. And it changes Soul Burn to grants an extra turn. Okay. Let's just read the whole thing, unlike Meteor Car, where I read them one at a time. What the heck? Her S3 increases combat readiness of all allies by 20%. When an ally uses a non-attack skill and this skill is available, increases combat readiness of the caster by 20%. So this is turning her into some kind of cleave setup hero, right? So theoretically, she's a mage. She can hold Taga Hells. She can... Basically, the reason why Silverblade Araminta sucks, you need a setup for her. She can do that job without a setup now, right? Because she has a immunity cleanse herself, and she can soul burn into the S3 and stun. But that's still not really viable. I could be wrong. Isn't Ida really slow? I feel like her base speed is like sub 110. So that's not really going to work. But it might work because if you pair her with a CR or anything faster than her that has a non-attack skill, like Ran just came out, she will push herself so you don't need anywhere near as much speed, or you could just bring her with another CR pusher. So maybe you could run her like 250 speed, but you're going to have to bring 2 pushers, like one true pusher and one like anything with a non-attack skill like Flan or something to make sure that she gets up. I guess Flan Soulburn would make her push up twice, right? So these are substantial buffs, I suppose. I don't know if this will make her see play. Again, control is not particularly good. So yeah, she could stun the whole enemy team, but if you build her that way, she's not going to do a whole lot of damage. And we just looked at God Kawerik. This is a perfect example of a hero that's going to poop all over some kind of stun opener. So, I don't know. Maybe they just never S3 and just use it to keep CR pushing with Soul Weavers. I don't know, but she's pretty squishy. Maybe I'm missing something. If I'm missing something here, guys, leave it in the comments below. I'm not blown away. I acknowledge that the buffs are good. I honestly think the best buff here is this. The Skill Nullifier. It's going to give her a lot more survivability. But, I still don't think Control's all that great. Dispelling 2 buffs, fine. Are you going to put effectiveness on her? Maybe. If you're going to run her with high effectiveness and use her as a soul-burning initiator, again, from what I remember, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I remember her being really slow, and there's plenty of things that can easily clear stun. So, I don't know about this one. What did they write? Maybe. Maybe. It is a lot of CR push. If you build her super fast, turn cycle a lot, and get abyssal stuns and stuff, we'll see. I don't really know. I don't have a true verdict on this one. We'll see. I'm not blown away like Mediocre Kawerik. Yafine, Dragon Charge, that's her S3. Okay, this who gives a crap increases effectiveness. What's the point? Soul Burn extends duration of the buffs granted by this skill by 1 turn and grants an extra turn. Doesn't grants, I guess, the increased effectiveness. Okay. This is going to make no difference. This is stupid. Am I missing something, guys? I don't, how is this going to make people suddenly choose to use Yafine? Maybe she could land some more debuffs with her S2 now. I think this is garbage tier. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Yafine's going to dominate the meta next season. As far as I know, I'm not seeing it. You gave her 50 effectiveness. That's what increased effectiveness is, right? 50 effectiveness. Whoop-de-doo. I don't think this changes crap. She's still going to be unusable. So that's a garbage buff as far as I'm concerned. BBK. So before it was 50% when you killed them. Now they kind of tried to split it. She gets 15% no matter what, and an extra 35. So if you kill, it's still 50%, but you'll get 15 even if you don't kill anything. So obviously that's a buff. Is it huge? I don't know. Not that huge, but better than nothing. At the start of battle, grants immortality to the caster for 1 turn. So that's actually pretty hilarious. Let's read the rest before we get into it. Blade Art Dragon. Attacks all enemies. Sacrifices a caster time. Increases attack of the caster for 2 turns. Increase combat readiness of caster by 50% when an enemy is defeated. This skill cannot trigger a counterattack unless you're Mercedes. We're going to have skills soon where it's you cannot counterattacks except counterattacks that could counterattack. It's just going to become a long string of stuff. I hate that they added that. Okay, so the Awakening, they're both the same thing. Okay. Is this before or after? Sometimes I can't tell from the text. You guys can comment below. If this is before she hits, it's massive. If it's after she hits, it's still good, but it's nowhere near as massive. But if you're saying she always has a guaranteed attack buffed S3, that's pretty huge. Now, my impression so far, some people did build Bruiser BBKs on counter in the past. It was trolly and hilarious, but not super high-end viable. This, I think, is actually kind of funny. I'm almost thinking she's like a K-Ron, right? Huh. I wonder if you could... So here's a troll build I'm thinking up right now. 250 effect resistance BBK with every single stat into effect resistance, crit damage, and 100% crit chance. And what's the plan? You can't get the immortality stripped, and you just one-shot any cleave team. Because especially if it's a self-increased attack. Because BBK's multis are... I mean, she was like the second-tier cleaver right behind Judge Kisei back then. And that was only because Judge Kisei hit twice. BBK hits really hard, so you don't need that many offensive stats to guarantee a one-shot kill with attack buff on any typical cleave team. So, is she going to be anti-cleave viable with effect resistance and 0 speed? Probably not, because a lot of things have ignore effect resistance stuff. But will it be absolutely hilarious? Absolutely. So I don't know if this is going to make her meta. I don't think so, but I think they're good buffs and certainly very amusing. And who knows, maybe they'll even put it on like arena defenses or something. Probably not, because they'll just bring something to strip it anyway. But I like it. I like it. It's pretty funny. Actually, do they specify... Nah, I was trying to read if they specify whether it gives the attack buff before she hits, but I don't know. I don't know. Carmine Rose. I don't know what she does. Let's humor this by reading it. So it's rune changes. Whatever. Okay. These like Earth Hero things were idiotic to begin with. Okay, this increased effectiveness thing again. Oh, because the verdict is she was garbage before, and she's 1% less garbage after, for a total end result of completely garbage. Excellent. Okay, let's move on. Artifact, Black Hand of the Goddess. It's the exact same artifact. This will make no change. Basically, they're reducing the penalty that you take every turn you attack. The very few people that I saw who did use this, they basically do nothing after the opener anyway. Like Tomoka, I mean, she was never going to last long enough to get down to this like final minimal value anyway. But it is a buff. It is a buff. For those of you who are using it, it is going to be a very mild improvement, but certainly nothing that's going to suddenly make you switch to it. Definitely not. Shepherd of Chaos, increased defense by 10%. I mean, that's pretty good. But again, just like the one above, that's not going to be enough to say suddenly motivate you from not using like Alexa's or MLDB or something. It's a buff. It's fine. Maybe it'll help you a little bit if you're really on the fence, but overall, not a huge deal. So, all right. So, that's it. What are the people commenting? No Solitaria, no Judge Kisei. You fiend, this is called nerf, not buff. That's hilarious. I like that guy. But all right, so let's summarize here. What happened with this balance patch? So, number one, Mediocre Kawerik. We can't call him that anymore because I think he's going to be super high tier, and he's God Kawerik now. Ida, I'm too dumb to know. I still think we're not going to see a lot of her, but I could be missing something huge. So if I am, leave it in the comments below. I've been wrong before. Whatever, it's fine. Yafine, I think these buffs are useless and aren't going to change anything. BBK, I don't think she's going to suddenly become a meta hero, but I think this opens up a lot of hilarious troll cleave counter builds. And Zealot Carmine Rose, you didn't know who that was, and neither do I. So, anyways, I think we'll wrap up this video here. I hope this enlightened you on my squirrely thoughts on this balance patch. I love them because I have a triple S Mediocre Kawerik warming up my bench. Maybe you could stand soon, and I'm looking forward to it. So anyways, thanks for watching. Till next time, boys, keep on grinding. Peace out.